I'm going to assume that we are live because Lily is not cooperating, so I can't see if we're live, but I assume we are. So, GM Farcaster, it is Monday, December 18th, and you are here with Adrian and the Nounish Prof, bringing you 21 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day. And Adrian's having a bit of a morning. We're having a bit of a morning. It's okay. Um, we're gonna get there. So she's on her phone. We can't see the chat at the moment. There's all kinds of issues. We're gonna plug along
That's
because
right.
there's a ton of stuff to talk about today because Merkel decided to like ship everything Friday night. Like
They really did.
they just went crazy on us. So yeah, so let's get into it. I'm gonna start with um Outcasters. So we'll start with Outcaster Snapshot 023. A beautiful piece per usual. I love the cover art, and that was created by Ghostlinks. It's lovely. And Adrian, you're still in there. You're hanging in the top 30 active users. And I
Something
loved
like four. If I'd casted four fewer times, I would have gotten booted, but
You
I'm
were very
hanging out.
close. You're right on the edge, but you made it. We've got a lot of meme-ish feel to this one. A little bit of base management, a few other things, and some beautiful photos towards the end of just some gorgeous scenery and different things happening, and of course a cat. There's got to be a cat. There's always a cat. There's just always a cat, at least one in every single
It's the
weekly
internet.
wrap up of everywhere on the internet, really. So we're going to get into this in a minute, but I thought it was interesting to see Graham McBain say there's been a vibe shift. I'm here for it, but it's definitely happened. Say more. It's like the culture has been split into hundreds of little shards. Will be interesting to see where it lands. So we're going to jump into talking about all that, but a lot of this relates to all the new channels, plus all the degenery that happened last week and continued on. So I think between those two things, we are seeing a little bit of a shift in vibes. What do you think about that statement, Adrian? I was curious to get your take on that while I try to see if anyone's chatting with us because I can't get to channel. I mean, I can't get to
Yeah,
unlock.
it is. Yeah, you do that. And anyone listening, I there was a big storm in my area, so I woke up this morning with no power and lots of flooding outside. So
So,
I'm dialed in on my phone, but I'm unable to pull up the chat or do anything else. So GM, anyone
so
listening
we're
live.
we're we're doing the best we can today.
The vibe shift in Farcaster since over the last week is definitely palpable. And I think like with any time there's a shift, and we've seen this a few times, like there's the immediate change is bad. Give me back my old, give me back the way it used to be. I think I,
You know what's funny? I think that I expected this more when we went permissionless. I expected a major vibe shift, right?
hmm
And we didn't really see that. So it's interesting to see it now and see what the things are that actually made a shift. And this feels like a moment, and it's really interesting. Um, I don't know that it's bad. I think it's different, and we're going to see adjustments. But I think there's also this, oh, good, we are live. I was actually able to get to us. Uh, that's glad we're live. And now I can see the chat. GM, GM all. It's so good to see you. Um, okay, so some people are saying in the chat they're not feeling the vibe shift as much as others. Um, I think I'm not disturbed by it. I definitely feel it, but I'm not like bothered by it. I guess is the difference. So
yeah,
where are
I
you
feel the
at?
same.
You're more OG than me. Okay, so you're feeling
No,
similar.
I'm not bothered. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of positives to what's happening too, including, and let's jump into this, permissionless channels So we have now, let me find the correct one. Of course I can't, of course it's not going to pull up now. We have now, you can create your own channel. So the plan for channels from DWR, we launched channels in June 2023 with Farcon and Purple. We've done a bunch of experiments since then. We're optimistic about channels being the thing for Farcaster. I agree. Why Farcaster is not just a decentralized Twitter clone. We're rapidly iterating on channels. And we're moving in a slightly different direction than the original channels are just a marketing name for FIP2. Turns out channels need more native functionality like following mods, we call them hosts, moderation, and other future features. So he goes on to talk more about that. And I was able to create a channel for GM Farcaster, and it runs very similar to this, to what Varun says here. Creating a channel is rolling out in stages on Warpcast. Click create channel in the left sidebar on mobile. Choose a unique name. Pay the channel fee in warps. If you don't see it, try updating. If you don't have warps, you can get some on the web. So it was really easy, but also I still struggled a little bit to not know exactly what was going to happen. So let me just explain. When you click on the create channel, you're giving the channel name, but you're going to have a chance after you create it to actually edit the description, add a little bit about it. You can change the name, or at least how it appears, things like that. Because I was like, I do not want all lowercase GM Farcaster. That's the channel name, but it's the slash name, right? So then I was able to
So
get
there's
in,
channel
make this
name and then
adjustment.
like a display name is you can set a
Exactly.
display name separate.
Exactly. So you can adjust it and it can look a little nicer. And you can also add the description and all of those things. It did cost 2,500 warps, but also very seamless and very easy process. Like using warps has been really, I think, a huge unlock. I think it just works so well that it's really been an easy thing to incorporate into different applications and things like that. So as centralized as it is, we have a whole discussion about centralization and points. And Boys Club had a really good pod the other day talking about points in general, not dollar sign points, but like the use of tokens or points or loyalty rewards or things like that within the crypto space. And I thought it was really interesting. So think like Friend Tech and Rainbow and Blur, even Blur did that for, Blur and Blast and all these different things that are using this sort of placeholder for an ERC20, if you will. So the process in general, very easy. People not thrilled with the zillion notifications that they're getting.
Oh my God, the number of notifications.
Yeah, so
Because
they're
people went, yeah, and I don't know how you
yeah,
felt, but like I was also like in camp. I don't need to be notified every time someone
right.
launches a channel. But I also I'm also okay just recognizing like it just launched. It's not going to be like this
It's just this
forever.
moment.
They might change it. I don't get as
Yep.
offended, but I couldn't get over the number of people launching channels.
You
It
know,
was, did you
I
wake up
know.
Saturday morning and check your phone?
Yeah,
I would
and
have,
that was Dan's note here was a couple things, but it was about waking up to exciting to wake up to so many new channels, always amazed at the wide range of interests casters have. For those feeling channel notification fatigue, this most likely a temporary burst of new channels since they've been permissioned for 6 months. We'll add a notification toggle sometime soon. So I think that's really the unlock there is if you can toggle off the notifications. Um, and the other thing he mentioned was the home feed is still there. It just doesn't have an icon. So it's sort of your default. And then when you tap into channels now, it pops up as an overlay and then tap back button or home icon at the bottom to return back to home. So just a little shift here and there of a few things in terms of how it works, but yeah, the notifications were off the chain. And then I said to you, I'm like, do we launch it? Do we not launch it? Like I was like, I think we need a GM Farcaster channel because then I won't have to think about what channel to cast into every time because I'm like, I'm lonely. Farcaster? Where do I put this? So now I know where to put this. But it was also like, is this going to bug people? Like, are they sick? Are they going to be mad at us? I don't know. So hopefully you weren't mad. But what do you and I'm shocked at how many people are already in our channel, and we love you and we appreciate you. And
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I think one of the risks with too many channels, right, is the content gets splintered to dispersed into too many channels, and you can't. There's not enough in any channels to have meaningful um, content and conversation. So I was like, well, do we need our own? And then I thought about it, and then I was like, of course we need a GM Farcaster channel. And it doesn't mean you can't cross promote and talk, but yeah. So we've got our channel, and
I'm excited.
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I guess our video is coming about a little chunky and chuggy, which is weird because our connection seems to be fine. So I think maybe
Mm,
the unlonely stream part of it is being weird, but I think our recording will be fine. So if you're, getting annoyed
we'll
with us because it's chugging along, check back on the recording. It should be a lot smoother.
we shall
Um,
see. But I
we
don't have
shall see.
internet this today, so I might not be able to get that uploaded today until Con Ed
That's
comes
fine.
and gets
Don't even
internet
worry
back.
about it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'll have the recording done and we'll have that up shortly.
It's
A few
amazing,
more
by the way, how little you can get done without internet.
It's crazy. Like,
Power, I'm fine. Keep the power off,
okay,
but can I
I'm
have
going to
my
totally pivot here go on a side note, but have you seen Leave the World Behind yet?
no?
I think it's on Netflix. I think it's Netflix. Okay. If you have a chance, go watch it. I'd love to discuss it with you. But
All right,
sort of
homework assignment.
the key part of this is that, yeah, everything goes down. Like everything goes, all the internet connect, your cell phone, everything, you can't communicate, you're not getting anything. And like that's like the scariest scenario to me. Like that's the easiest way to disrupt our world for sure, like in general. So anyway, let's not dive too far into that because we'll be on a whole like
Well, that's my theory.
apocalypse.
So, yeah,
Apocalypse, right down the hole.
on the AI on the AI doomerism front, my
Yeah.
my feeling is less about like, okay, the AI is going to turn, the paperclip scenario, or they're going to do something malicious and try to take out humanity. As my feeling is, we're just so incredibly uh, dependent on technology and the internet, like to do anything,
Yeah.
that if there's outages, just chaos
Chaos.
ensues.
Absolute chaos. Yeah. And you feel bored. And it's so interesting how quickly we've adapted to that. If you think about it, just going back to our childhoods even. Like, yeah, we get bored when there was a snowstorm, we had no power, but it was like all we were losing was 3 channels. You know, like
and
Saturday
about
morning
uh,
cartoons,
and
that's
about
it.
90 minutes of programming.
Right, that's it.
Eh, That was
You
that.
realize that the TV used to go off at like 10 o'clock. So, yeah. So I did get a question. Yeah, BIP is working on mobile too. Interesting. Yeah, I think On Lonely's just having some weirdness today. Someone asked me about that movie. It's a little odd. Uh, it's quirky. I'll just put it that way, but it will make you think about things. So, do with that what you will. DYOR.
Do
I don't
your
want
own
to be
research.
blamed. I don't
I
want to be
started a
blamed
new
for this.
show. I did start a new show this weekend based on a Farcaster recommendation. So I'm 3
What
episodes
was it?
in. Murder at the End of the World.
Ooh, I've heard about that, but I have not watched it yet. So I will have to see Things from the Screens channel. There you go. There you go.
It was actually from Farcast Her,
Damn.
but
Oh, better. Even better.
alpha, more alpha there.
More alpha there. Farcaster is amazing. Oh, yeah, you will be blamed. I will be blamed if they hate the movie. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So a few more things happening in the Farcaster, world of Farcaster, before but maybe there are things happening. I love this meme from Dan. Wow. People talking about consumer crypto on Twitter, people having fun using consumer crypto on Farcaster. I do think that we are seeing, the way we're interacting with warps and all these things, we are definitely seeing consumer crypto coming to the forefront. And of course, we also have seen the degenning of Farcaster and Warpcast. So, okay, here we go. Gonna run
Do we
this
want to do
in
this?
five
Are we going
minutes.
to do this?
We're gonna do this really quick because we have to do this. Okay, so points being born out of Farcaster has DeFi pilled my Web3 friends and Web3 pilled my DeFi friends. This was from Kyle, and I thought that was interesting. Soon after, we had poor Matthias. Um, the point saga is severely impacting my mental health, and I need to go offline for the weekend and touch grass. Funds will remain in the contract for the time being. Um, so we had this whole, situation with points where it ramped up, and then it caused Matthias a lot of stress. And then it was like, okay, now what do we do? So I think, when you launch a meme coin, there's definitely like he YOLO'd it, right? It was just like a fun, I'm just gonna throw this thing together. This seems like a fun thing to do. And then there's all these repercussions because it took off. It could very well have done nothing, right? It could have just been this fun thing, sat there, did nothing. But because it caught fire, it comes with more pressure and more problems and challenges and all of that. And I feel awful for him. And I hope that he can ignore the FUD, ignore people who are just, being mean on the internet because they're not worth your time. So,
I think he can, and then the someone else is going to have to learn that lesson again,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
sadly.
here we go.
It's
Yes,
just
here we go.
the so.
I'm going to jump into that too.
But I will say, what's sad about this though is like if you saw it being launched, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
this is a meme,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's no thought. But then fast forward, people who you start hearing people talk about things like, well, what is the project team going to do with the funds?
Yeah.
Project team.
Project team.
Like there's no project. Like
It's not
and talking
project
about
team.
it as if it's a project, as
Right.
if it wasn't just a,
Meme
kind of
coin.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm responding to someone's challenge cast saying, hey, someone make a,
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
launch
Just
points.
something
Sure.
fun. Yeah, just something fun. So and that's how people think. So, and especially if you didn't see it from start to finish and don't know him and all those things, and it turns into a whole different thing because people are going on their past experience, right? Of other meme coins, other scammers, other issues, other, all that. And that's how they're seeing it rather than seeing this person as a person. And that's unfortunate. But we do have a couple other meme coins that have popped up. So we have Satori coming in with Wow Wow, and it's interesting. He had a very different approach to this. Um, it's it was like, I think, launched a couple weeks too late. I think it is a better Farcaster meme coin, meaning, but a lesser meme coin in terms of catching. It won't catch the same fire as points, probably. Um, I am going to disclose that I am a Wow Wow whale. I was given a lot of Wow Wow. I have not purchased any yet, but I was given insane amount of Wow Wow. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I am gonna gift some away at some point, but I'm kinda just letting things ride and see how things play out this week, and then we'll figure out what we do with 139 million. Wow, wow. Um, that's literally the
A
most
lot of
of
wow
any
wow.
coin I've ever
But
had.
you're right about the timing. I mean, the
Yeah.
timing of when you launch something, I mean, whether it's a
Mhm.
meme coin or a company or a
Anything.
product
Yeah.
or an investment,
Huge
it does
difference.
matter.
It does
Yeah.
matter. Yeah. So, we'll see if it catch fire, but then we had okay. So then we had DF throwing in some advice. If you, David Furlong, who seems to really know what's going on here, if you are designing a Farcaster meme coin, please get feedback and help from people you trust on here. Tokenomics, vibes, and contracts. All it takes is one to be wrong for it to fail, and the current meme coin madness momentum is a scarce resource. And then we had Bill. Bill, I adore you, but let's talk. So Bill launched Farts. Farts experiment has failed, and I'm calling it off. A contract bug has made it impossible to move funds out of the treasury to Purple or anyone else. Will burn all remaining tokens and renounce ownership soon. So the way he was designing his meme coin was really going to be giving back a lot to Purple, as I understood it. I did not jump into that one at all. I don't think I was gifted any. I hadn't checked. But that one I stayed away from. Um, so yeah, be careful. Go tread lightly with meme coins. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not willing to throw the ETH away, don't do it. That's the bottom line. Because that's essentially like you have to get into that mindset. And if you can't be in that mindset, then you shouldn't don't touch it. Just don't touch it.
Yeah, you have to 100% be in the, like whatever ETH you're
Yeah.
sending, you have to think
It's
can
gone.
go to zero
Yeah.
and likely go to zero,
Yeah.
likely go to zero. I feel that way about interacting with all Web3
Everything.
things, even
Everything.
things that are
Yeah.
not meme coins.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's risky, and it's risky in terms of from like a asset perspective, but there's also just risky in terms of there's still the security vulnerabilities
True.
and that we haven't all figured out.
And
So
we haven't seen too much talk of this on Farcaster, but over on crypto Twitter, the exploits that happened this week with Ledger,
yeah,
and there was another one that was going around with somebody reaching out to artists and sending them a link to jump on a Zoom like thing, but it was their own private, call thing, and the link just drained their wallets as soon as you click on the link and try to do anything. So just be super careful out there. Yeah, I mean, any NFT you buy, assume that you're throwing your ETH away, everything, because if you get into that mindset though, and you're still okay with it, it still can be a lot of fun. But you kind of have to go from that mindset. And we are out of time, but I want to mention one last thing because wow. Ted, I refuse to use Farcaster until we can mute channels. I'm all for the DGen channel having fun, but the fact that speculative behavior and meme coin bullshit has taken over my entire Farcaster experience, even after muting and unfollowing users, is a major L. They have fun at all our expense. So not everyone is enjoying the memeing and the shitcoinery, um, and would like to mute the channels, which I can understand. That would be frustrating. And also, there was an issue with unfollowing for a minute. It's fixed, so you can unfollow a channel now. So there you go. So back to where we started. Have the vibes shifted? We'll see. I think it's a wait and see situation. And with that, we are a little over time. And Adrian, thank you for like the dedication to being here, even though you had no power. Like,
well,
impressive.
yeah, and I don't, and no power also means no coffee.
Oh God. I'm
So,
sorry.
you're not
I'm sorry.
getting a player. You're not getting, yeah, I like your mug. You're not getting me at my
Yeah,
best on this
I
Monday.
know.
So thanks for putting up with me.
Thanks for putting up with us and for us running a little over. We started a smidge late. And
We have
tomorrow,
announcements though.
big and we got a big announcement that we have to make before we go. Dan Romero will be joining us tomorrow morning for GM Farcaster. So this is exciting. So we're going to
Yay.
do our usual little roundup, and then we'll keep that extra short tomorrow. So please don't do anything today. Can you guys just take the day off? Just don't ship anything. Don't do anything. Don't launch any meme coins. We don't have time tomorrow.
Just chill out. Everybody
Just
chill.
chill out. And then we'll be chatting with Dan. And so drop some questions. We'll ask you for some questions in the GM Farcaster channel that we now have. So jump in there and let us know what you'd like to hear from Dan. Give us some questions he hasn't been asked before. I'd love to have that. So that would be fun. And so we will see you tomorrow for GM Farcaster, 21 minutes to start your day. And oops, I just realized that Unlonely is, we're not actually being shown right now. It's still showing a whole different thing. Okay, let's make sure we see us. It was showing the last thing. It's a day. It's been a day. Let's at least go out with our faces. We'll see you tomorrow with Dan and hopefully no technical difficulties. Please. Bye bye, everybody.